Today we are going to shoot a different style of video, which is a Q&A one. Originally I planned this video with 2,000 subscribers. In the meantime we already have 2.5, but I got plenty of questions for you to go through today. So basically how this video is going to work out, next to me I have a wheel, and in that wheel is a whole lot of questions you all sent in. So right, that's enough talking for now. You basically get the point. I spin the wheel, I answer the question. Let's go. Do you follow other sports by Moerfel? I have to say, other than Formula 1, I don't really watch a lot of sports, mostly because I don't have the time to do it as well. So no, basically not. Ice skating, female ice skating, but we only watched it because of one reason. Next question. When did you get into Formula 1? Another question by Moerfel. The first memory I have of Formula 1 was in 2014. I believe it was a Japanese free practice, but I'm not really sure if that was 2014 or 15. I remember that I was very intrigued by those purple sectors. I was like, what the hell is that? A purple sector and a green sector and a yellow sector. And I never watched any motorsport of any kind before that. Yeah, I would say 2014. Next up. Alright, which brand to buy for the money? Clement Varu 1311. Honestly, kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you want like a budget option, I would say Solido. If you have a little bit of a bigger budget to spend, like 180, 200, I think popularity wise and with a whole array of collection, I think Spark suits you just fine. What's your favorite model car that you own by Formula Shorts? People ask me all the time what my favorite model car is in the comments as well. I have to say, just like my favorite piece of music, it kind of varies from day to day, to be honest. In my opinion, at the moment, my most favorite model car would be the RB16B Arigato livery, the one they race with in Istanbul, which is Turkey. It's not my favorite car of all time though, it's just my favorite model car. What's the most expensive scale model that you own by Pyroxxx? I believe at the moment the most expensive one I have is the LookSmart SF75. No, it was the LookSmart SF21. That's what it was. I believe that was pushing 300 euros at the time. So yeah, that would be my most expensive model car. Favorite Formula 1 car and Formula 1 driver of all time by Billy Garner 0274. It's no surprise that my favorite Formula 1 driver of all time has to be Ayrton Senna. I don't know, there's something about Ayrton Senna which none other driver, in my opinion, has equaled or surpassed, but that's just my opinion. And my favorite Formula 1 car, let's say I was a billionaire and I was looking for a car, Formula 1 car to buy in the living room. I would probably pick the Lotus 99T from 1987. It was the first year they switched from the John Player Special livery to the Camel Lotus livery, which I really enjoy. Very controversial, that one, I know. Once again, Moerfel. Do you also collect 143 scale? I don't. I only buy 118 scale. When I first got into Formula 1 model car collecting, I ordered basically Ayrton Senna's career in 143 scale. And I remember when I unpacked these little cars, I was like, oh shit, 143 scale, that's so incredibly tiny. In my opinion, I just couldn't justify it. It was just too small of a scale for that price, in my opinion. Next up. What got you into collecting by Tom.Kearsley? I don't view myself as a collector, I just view myself as a Formula 1 car reviewer. And in order to make those reviews, I have to get cars, and that's why the collection builds up. If I weren't to make these videos, I wouldn't get into collecting the model cars. It's just plainly for video. In terms of Spark and Mini Champs, which do you prefer? I don't know, there's just a lot more detail in my opinion with Spark, because when I purchased my first 118 scale model cars, they were still 150, 160 euros, Spark that is, compared to the 200 euros of Mini Champs at the time. At the moment, what is out of the question is basically what is the cheapest, because they're both kind of relatively the same price, but still, I'd pick Spark any day. Would you buy other scales of model cars like 143, 112, and so on? By Aaron Chin 5095. To continue with the 143 scale question, it's interesting, especially for video-wise, to maybe do a small little pathway to 143 scale, because that's also more accessible to the viewers. I think if you have one 112 scale, that is really like enough, because it's like, you know, like a staple piece you put on a coffee table or whatever. And I have to say, I'm running out of space. So yeah, maybe 43, but 112 no. Who is the GOAT of Formula 1 by Formula Shorts? Apart from being my favorite driver, I also think Ayrton Senna is the best driver of all time in Formula 1. How many model cars do you have by Evil Kite 88? I did a collection video 2 months back, and at the time I believe I had 54, and that does include the 143 scale cars as well, so don't have like 54 118 scales. Oh, a little bit of a lag there. Once again, Moerfel. Man, he asked a lot of questions. Other hobbies. I play music. I love to make music. Once again, because it's creative. I have to say I play a lot more guitar than I play the piano, so I'm a little bit more advanced at guitar. There's a lot of guitar stuff on my Instagram, building guitars as well, but that's been a year ago, so not really anymore. So yeah, that's basically, those basically are my different hobbies. Alright, this is a long boy. Do you think Max will retire at the end of his current contract in 2028? Will anyone beat him before then? If so, who do you think you will likely to see to topple him? So yeah, there's basically a couple questions in one. Do you think Max will retire at the end of his current contract in 2028? I'm not really a type to look into the future and, you know, like make assumptions and whatever, but I do think he really dislikes this 2036, I believe it was, those new type of regulations. I believe he's so against it that maybe he does consider quitting by then, but in 2028, no, I think he will continue past 28. So yeah, basically the second part of your question would be, will anyone beat him before then? If so, who do you like to see to topple him? The only person who has the same fighting spirit, the exact same fighting spirit, in my opinion, as Max, would be Fernando Alonso, but once again he's like 41, 42 years old. What I would really like to see, Charles Leclerc being a little bit more selfish in a Red Bull next to Max. I would really pay good money in order to see how that is going to turn out. Oh, this is a good one. Who is the best driver, in your opinion, to never win a World Driver Championship? From the top of my memory, I believe Sterling Moss, Gilles Villeneuve, David Coulthard on the top of my memory. I don't have Wikipedia in front of me, so I'm just basically doing this from memory. But out of those three, I would pick Sterling Moss. If you had all the money, from which car would you buy the most expensive model by Menno? So automatically that would be Amalgam, because they're like crazy expensive. I would basically pick for 11,080 pounds, or euros I should say, the McLaren MP44 from 1988 of the Japanese Grand Prix, and driver Ayrton Senna, obviously. Once again, for a whopping 11,080 euros. What's your favorite Formula 1 season? Once again, I only watch actively from 2014 onwards. I think 2016 was a good one. 2017, no. 2018, no. 2019, no. 2020, I think 2020 is a pretty underrated season. But yeah, you know, like the crazy tracks we had were really nice. Deliveries we had were really nice. And the races, just like the races itself in the midfield, were pretty okay. But my favorite season of all time, surprise, surprise, would be the 2021 season. I mean, have you ever seen a title fight this close? The last question. How many model cars do you currently have? Moerfel, once again a duplicate. And once again, I still think it's 61. This was basically the whole video, and this was basically in order to celebrate 2,000 subscribers. And at the moment of recording, we don't have 2,000 anymore. We have 2,522 people. So thank you very much for sticking around for such a long time. Talking about subscribing, maybe consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one as well.